As promised, here's Al Sharpton's interview with Dr. Jill Stein of the Green Party.
Bernie Sanders supporters at the Democratic Convention signaling they back Green Party candidate Jill Stein over Hillary Clinton. Stein is trying to position herself as the option for progressives who don't want either Clinton or Donald Trump. And she's been making some tough statements about the various Clinton controversies.
Part of the problem, with Hillary's abuse of the rules, she was sort of too big to jail on the rules, and she violated those rules with a sense of impunity.
But she trails in the polls. The Green Party is in 4th place in NBC's latest 4-way national poll. Joining me now is Jill Stein, Green Party candidate for president. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First, let me ask you, Jill, what do you say to progressives who worry that a vote for you might tilt the election to Donald Trump?
Well, I'd say it's a little early to say. Right now, we know that a majority of voters does not like Hillary Clinton and does not like Donald Trump. These are the most disliked and untrusted presidential candidates in our history, and the majority of voters are calling for other choices and other voices. So, my sense is let's let this discussion go forward. Who are we to tell voters to be good little boys and girls when the system has been throwing them under the bus? Both parties that have been sending our jobs overseas, putting downward pressure on our wages. We have an entire generation of young people who are trapped in student loan debt with no way out, expanding wars, you name it. This politics of fear that tells you to vote for the lesser evil, all those reasons that we were told to vote for the lesser evil, we've gotten by the droves. The Wall Street bailouts, the meltdown of the climate, the expanding wars. So people are unhappy campers. They want some other choices. I think we need to open up the debates and let's have democracy go forward and sort this out.
All right, now let me show you what Donald Trump said about this very issue last month.
I think a vote for Stein would be good. It's the Green Party. Because I figure anybody voting for Stein is going to be for Hillary, so I think voting for Stein is fine.
Donald Trump said a vote for you would be a vote for Donald Trump. What's your response?
Well, I think Donald Trump is not exactly the expert political analyst these days, as we see his own campaign falling apart. He's firing his campaign manager. He's trying to reorganize. In fact, it's the Republican Party, which is falling apart at the seams right now. And all the Republican leadership, virtually not all, but a lot of it, has moved over to Hillary Clinton's campaign as Hillary Clinton continues to move to the right and give indications that she's actually flip-flopping again from the progressive positions that she adopted in her appointment of Ken Salazar. We have the lobbyist's lobbyist who's really close to the fossil fuel industry, who supports the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which will devastate American jobs and our protections for public health and for workers and even democratic sovereignty. So, I think Donald Trump is hardly the expert here.
All right, well, let me ask you something else about him. He's this week twice appealed to African-American voters.
Yes.
And he's saying that they should vote for him, try something new. How do you respond to that? And are you saying that? Or do you have a track record in the African-American community of doing work? Or are you saying that African-Americans try something new? I know you have a running mate who's African-American.
Right.
I know people who know him well, but I'm talking about your involvement.
Great, yes, and I should mention also Cornel West and Mark Lamont Hill, who are noted spokespeople from the African-American community.
But I'm talking about your involvement.
Yes, my involvement. So I helped with the movement to redistrict in my home state in Massachusetts, working with the African American community to attain more just redistricting in our state. I got my start actually in this as a medical doctor, very concerned about environmental racism, and actually began my activism around developing greater protections, in particular for communities of color, related to the incinerators and the coal plants that, as you know, which concentrate in African American communities. So yes, indeed, I have quite a track record.
Are you going to be going after actively campaigning for African American voters?
Absolutely, and I already am. I just came this past week from Minnesota, where I spoke in the Twin Cities with the NOC, the
Were you disappointed that
Organizing to Change.
Were you disappointed Bernie Sanders didn't endorse you when some of his supporters have come over to you?
You know, I can't say I was disappointed. I was hopeful that maybe Bernie would change his tune, but he's been very clear and consistent all along, you know, and he's...
Clear and consistent as what, a Democrat?
Right, that he would support the Democratic nominee. So I didn't, you know, Bernie's a team player. I happen to think he's on the wrong team, but he's a man of integrity, and I had every reason, like everybody else, to expect Bernie to fulfill his word.
Jill Stein, Green Party candidate for president. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Great talking with you, Reverend.
All right, so there's the interview Jill Stein did with Al Sharpton. I gotta tell you, I'm starting to feel her. I gotta do some more research on her, but she appears to me to be the closest thing to Bernie Sanders, and I still am a big Bernie Sanders supporter. And as she stated, when he lost, he kept his word and said that he would support Clinton. I believe grudgingly, but once he said he was going to support her, I believe that, you know, he pretty much had no choice. Funny thing, though, you haven't seen him out there campaigning for her yet, so let's see. But I think that we should basically say, the hell with Donald Trump, and why the hell don't we give Jill Stein a chance? What the hell do we have to lose by giving her a chance?